Hello guys, my name's Glurmit and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you 5 teams that I think you should be investing in at the moment. This is a series that I'm going to start off. I'm going to go over it every couple of months because I feel like there's always going to be new teams we should start investing in. So let's get into it. The first team, and this is one that's going to apply to almost all GP brackets, is going to be Inquisitors. Guys, you know I do a lot of roster reviews. I look at a lot of your rosters. I see a lot of you are beginning this transition towards the Inquisitorious faction, and I'm saying to a lot of you during those reviews, if you are over 6 million GP, you should 100% be investing in them, but getting them done early is a fantastic choice for you to make. They're just so important, not only in terms of the Reaver mission, which I know some of you will be watching and saying, hey, but Glurmit, I'm 2 million GP and 1 million GP, why does this matter to me? In that scenario, it doesn't. But Second Sister, Fifth Brother, and Grand Inquisitor all have a key ship, and the Grand Inquisitor team can be used as 2 effective teams in 3v3, and he's needed in Territory War if you want to be in those top guilds. A lot of them require Grand Inquisitor, double Omicron. So there's lots of reasons there to invest in this team. It's just a matter of when. And my recommendation for the team right at the top, if I'm going to be honest guys, it's going to be one of 2 things. Firstly, you have been playing a while, you're 4 million GP and you're working on conquest units. Just remember, we can now get the TIE Interceptor, and if you want to see how you can freestyle that mission, why don't you check out the video that's linked right now in the top of the screen. But if you already have the Interceptor, then there's even more of a reason to start the farm. The second requirement for investing in this team is probably going to be if your team is doing ROTE. If your guild is doing ROTE, then the least you can do is repay your guild by investing in the most important team in that game mode. You're going to be able to take them all to R7 for the Reaver mission, and if you can do the Reaver mission, the shards are there. But here's the thing guys, a lot of you may not be doing the mission, but you may still be doing 1 or 2 sectors in the dark side area, and if that is you, you at least have that full R7 team so you can still participate in combat missions throughout territory battles. Honestly guys, this is a fantastic team to invest in, and I would say almost all of you should be considering that right now. The next team we're going to be looking at is actually going to be the Zory team. Guys, I'm pushing Zory so hard, and when I finally get her to R7 end of this week, you guys are going to see why I've been pushing her so hard. There's a reason why people in the top levels of the game are literally throwing Galactic Legends against this team. Zory is insane. That's the first thing. Secondly, I just found out, somehow I didn't know, you can put Zory in a raid team and Starkiller suddenly doesn't counter as hard as he should do. So there is a reason there, but why should you invest in Zory? And what GP should you invest in now? And this is the question you're all going to be asking me. Well, firstly, I would say maybe 50 to 60% of you should invest in Zory. I'm not going to say go and invest in her if you have 0 progress at all, because I think like changing farms entirely wouldn't be the best choice, even though it is a very good team. Reasons to invest in her include you've just unlocked SOKL. If you've gone for SOKL or just unlocked him, you have every reason to go ahead and invest in Zory. The reason why I'm saying to you, if you just unlocked Kylo, to go and invest in Zory is because you're going to have the team for BB-8, and it would make sense from that point to go ahead and unlock BB-8 because you'll need them eventually for JTR, and JTR is a team that you need for other characters in the game, notably Rey and JML. If you have got Kylo, if you've got all that team and you start farming for JTR and you start farming for BB-8 and all of that fun stuff, then it opens up the Zory team. It basically flows into one another. The other thing is, now here I have Resistance Hero Finn, and you guys will always see that I do actually push him as the best 5th, but you can use Vet Han in here, and all of a sudden you get a use for that relic, and a very good use for it at that point. Now, in terms of GP, this is a team that I'd actually recommend lower GP to invest in, maybe more so than higher GP. If you, like I said, if you're someone who's doing this SOKR farm early on, then I feel like this is a good path to go down. If you are someone who just wants a strong team early on, this is a good team to go down. Now, if you're higher GP, you may have the characters, it may also be worth it, but you'll probably have other farms you want to be doing. But if you're low GP, less than 2 million, you're considering SOKR, or maybe you just have some sort of first order team, then I would say go ahead, invest in the Zory team. It does punch up a lot, it does have a lot of potential, and it is one that you can leave Zory at low stars, low gear, and you can still have decent success. All of the videos you've seen up until this point the video was posted have all been with a low star, low gear Zory. Eventually I'm going to have a relic, and then things do change, the counters become better. She then has a higher skill ceiling or higher ceiling for potential. And when you get to that point, things do change ever so slightly. But for those of you who are watching this video and you're looking for teams to start investing in at the moment, for Grand Arena, for Territory War, for Territory Battles, this is a good team to invest in. The next team is one that maybe a few of you may be surprised. This is very much a speculative suggestion. One that I would say anyone who is considering going for Survivor Cow, or at least working on the requirements, anyone who maybe has some decent Nightsisters and plans to take them up, or maybe someone who's just looking for that extra team for Grand Arena, Territory War, Territory Battles. Nightsisters are decent. They were good in the past. At the moment, they've kind of lost a lot of value. Unfortunately, as time has gone on, the Nightsisters have become less and less relevant with each passing day. Now, that isn't to say they're bad. After all, Daka and Zombie are used in a lot of Kylo lineups, especially for GL counters, and Asajj can have uses, and Talzin, honestly, outside of Nightsisters, just doesn't have that use. Now, some of you be wondering, hey Glurmit, why have you left Spirit out? The reason being, I'm anticipating Merrin. When Merrin comes out in the next month or so, I assume she's going to have a similar impact that Zory has had, where she's just going to completely revitalize a faction. So because of that, if you start working on Nightsisters now, they are an easy gear. In terms of Zetas, there's only really, a couple you need. I would say Daka, Talzin, and that's about it. You only really need Talzin lead. Asajj is nice on the unique, because then you can get the Omicron, and all of a sudden the team really comes together. And honestly, because of the low gear, because of how easy they are to unlock, I feel like this is a very nice team to maybe invest in. Maybe you're someone who's in the 3 million range GP and you're looking to bloat in order to do Proving Grounds in a couple of weeks. Maybe you just like Nightsisters, maybe you like Fallen Order and you want that Merrin in your Galaxy of Heroes roster. If any of these things apply to you, maybe investing in Nightsisters could be nice. The other thing, guys, that this team has over all of the others is you can do assault battles. And because of assault battles, if you do invest in this team, you have a guaranteed 10 cryotechs of each type, so there's 20 each month. And this adds up over time. If you think in 10 months, you're looking at 200. Yes, it's long-term thinking, guys, but in a year, that is a minimum 2 extra relic characters. Remember, it's 100 of each side with the cryotech for each character individually. So it's not going to be 200, it'll be 100 of the shock prod or 100 of the computer. So if this is you and you are thinking long term, like we all are in the old Glurm club or whatever you want to call us right now, you are a big brain viewer. And if you're a big brain viewer, especially with Merrin coming out, I would actually recommend this as a team to farm. I think it's going to be a hot team in the near future. Obviously, there's always the possibility that Merrin does become an online force user. I don't think that's going to happen. I think she's just going to be Nightsister exclusive. And if that happens, this team is going to get a massive, massive boost here, guys. Honestly, recommend it. I think it can work. I think it's an easy team to gear. I think it's one you could passively work on. Remember, guys, if you are going for Survivor Cow, it's only gear 12 for the unlock. So you don't have to have the relics. You could just take this team to gear 12. You could take Merrin to gear 12 when she comes out. And then you have a team right there. The next team on the list is one that's mainly for Territory War focuses. And that is the Grievous team. I know a lot of you have Grievous. This team is here for those of you who are maybe sub 2 million GP, maybe sub 1.5 million GP. You're looking for that strong team in Territory War so that you don't feel a bit lame when you don't really put anything on defense, or you just put those level 80 Gear 7 Phoenix that I've done in the past on the free-to-play on defense, and then it's like, I kind of feel like I'm letting the guild down. If this is you, Droidica Omicron and the Grievous team is the way forward. Not to mention that in Grand Arena, this is a counter to JML, this is a counter to Sith Eternal without Malik. This is a decent team to invest in, guys. Honestly, it's strong. You're going to be helping your guild out. Territory battles, it really helps. There's some special missions in the Dark Side Geonosis that you need to be using this team for. It's a very good 4 out of 4 team. And if you're in Dark Side Geo, this is possibly a team you should invest in. If you're going to go for General Skywalker, you're probably doing it anyway. As I said, this is a suggestion for those of you who are maybe newer to the game, who maybe don't want to invest in any of the new characters, but you still want to do something and you need a little bit of focus. This is a fantastic team to go to. Now, we've spoken about it for the other characters. What gear and relic levels do they require? Honestly, Grievous at relics, B1 at relics, Droidica at relics. The others can be perfectly fine at gear 12. Long-term relics on everyone. You can see that on my main, I've got relic 5 on everyone, relic 3 and Droidica, relic 7 here. I'm going to be shooting them all up to Relic 7 at some point, but that's just me. You don't need them at that high relics to begin with, and if you're early game, I would aim for the Relic on Grievous, the Relic on B1, the Relic on Droidica because of the Omicron. In terms of modding, Droidica should be your strongest, but that's going to be a video for another day. And now we have the final team we're going to talk about today, and that is the Tuskens. I honestly think this is the team to farm right now. Remember guys, Boba Fett Son of Jango has been in Proving Grounds for over a year. A lot of you are going to be unlocking him now. I see a few of you come into the chat and say, hey Glurmit, why don't I use Boba Fett Son of Jango in Territory War? Well, in Territory War it's okay, he has Omicrons, we have uses. But outside of Territory War, where are we using him? And this is where the Tusken faction comes into play. So for 5v5 Grand Arena, for Territory Wars, for Territory Battles, all of that fun stuff, you're going to be using the Tusken team as the following. Tusken Chieftain, Tusken Warrior, Tusken Shaman, Tusken Raider, and that made me kind of lose my head a little bit, but that just is the power of the Tuskens. Let's call it the Tusken effect. So in terms of the Tuskens, they are worth investing in. You know, 3 of them, or 2 of them, my apologies, are actually Galactic Legend requirements, that is and Tusken Raider. And then Tusken Shaman's an easy farm needed for platoons. Tusken Warrior is going to be a harder farm to do, we don't know where they're farmable yet. Tusken Chieftain's in a similar spot. Now in terms of what you get from this team, one of the big benefits is similar to Nightsister's, possibly Inquisitors, although that one is a little bit harder to do. You do get a Assault Battles team, and Tuskens can be used in more than one. So because of that reason, we're now looking at a lot of Cryotech potential. Remember guys, over the case of 10 months, for each Assault Battle you can at least get challenged tier 1, you are looking at 2 relics a year. It does add up guys, especially if you're early GP, those 2 relics do make a big difference. So because of that reason, it's worth investing in. Note also the raids coming out, and that's kind of the influence that I hold on this team. I think it's going to be a fantastic team for the raid. I think of all the teams currently, Mandalorians, Old Republic, Hutt Cartel, Tuskens, for example, I feel like Tuskens will be the most accessible, the best to go for a lot of people, just because the team looks the best of all of them. Hutt Cartel, you need Jabba, that's a long farm. Old Republic, I don't really know how that one's going to fare. We then have Mandalorians, you're going to need more. That may be out of the question. So then that leaves you with Tuskens, and I think Tuskens would be a very good team to go for. And then we spoke a little bit about Boba Fett Son of Jango. In the case of Boba Fett Son of Jango, you're going to want to put him into this Tusken team in 3v3. And this is the benefit of this team over these teams. And that is in 3v3, the only other team that really compares here is Inquisitors, and they don't have as high a threshold here. Is you're going to have 2 really good teams. Tusken Chieftain, Boba Fett Son of Jango, Tusken Warrior, and then you have the Tusken Raider, and Tusken Shaman. And both of them are very good teams. We're seeing that Boba Fett Son of Jango and a Tusken team is almost S tier right now. That may change over the case in the next few months. But honestly guys, these are the teams to invest in. In my honest opinion, these are the teams that you should be working on at the moment. Depending on your GP, we kind of outlined who should be going for which team. But for the most part, these are all teams all of you should at least be considering the farm. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel a bunch. It helps you get the videos out there so more people get to experience the life of Glurm. Thank you all for watching, and have a Glurmit day.